Guys, the Ludaguna, with the season actually finished, we can review everybody's performance from the players to the manager to wherever. So yeah, not to get into it, we know the season's been a season of mixed emotions, ups and downs. Well, only like two ups, beating Chelsea and winning the FA Cup. But yeah, Arsene Wenger, now it's time to review him. I really don't know where to start. There's so much to say in regards to this man and his managerial performance over the last few years. Well, over the last few years, but specifically this season. Firstly, we know the players have let him down versus Palace, let him down versus City, notably, let him down versus Spurs, West Brom, Chelsea away, etc., etc. But you have to hold your hands up, Wenger. Firstly, you've created an environment of Z-list mentality where they can get away with these things several time and time again, and they're ultimately threw it in your face, and you have to pay for that. I mean, it's all great and nice, and of course we feel sorry for you that these players do it, but you're a smart man. There comes to a point where you need to be competent and be sensible and say it's me or the players. Another great idol of mine and the guy I keep referring to in these videos, Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm pretty sure Sir Alex Ferguson had this side for the last 3 years. Do you, especially after losing to Leicester in the league, losing out to Leicester, I can guarantee you some of these players would not have been here, and he would not be protecting them like how he is. But yeah, there's that. And he said one day we'll know the truth, but whatever. Now, where else should I? Where else? I really don't know where to go. There's actually so much. Firstly, first half of the season, we were winning games when we weren't necessarily playing well. Yeah, we were getting the rub of the green. We all know the joke at Liverpool. We were getting the rub of the green. We went on. I believed it was 16 or something at the time, but Wenger came and said recently it was 20 until December. So yeah, you look at the Burnley away when we were getting results. Chelsea was a great game. Yeah, we were just getting lucks and bits and bobs and just winning games when we weren't exactly good, and it was painting over the craps. Another thing for me is we don't finish off games. We need to be ruthless. Alexis Sanchez has even said there's games where we should have been winning 4 or 5. For like typically we've seen us go ahead if we are lucky enough to score in the first half. We go ahead, we'll have chance after chance. Even the FA Cup showed this, chance after chance after chance, destroy the team, kill the team, whatever, and it'll still only be 1-0 at half time. On another day, Chelsea would have turned it around. We've seen it be turned around time and time again. Even if we look at City in December, we actually, even though we lost it, we actually went 1-0 ahead, if I remember correctly. And City in that first half didn't show up. If we went and put 3 or 4, by the time in the second half they did react, it would have been too late. In fact, if you want to be real technical, Everton as well, in that same week, where we conceded the same amount of goals, and yeah, we conceded the same amount of goals and we took the lead. So there's clearly a problem in that regard. Like, we can't keep a lead. We need to kill games off. Like, especially at home. When last did we actually kill a game in the first half? It's too nerve biting and too nerve wracking and things like that. We need to just kill teams off, be ruthless, not allow them back into the game. Like, it's ridiculous. It really is. I'd say as well, another thing is the defensive problems. I mean, it's been there for a while, but the last 3 years in particular have really made me annoyed conceding the same goals. You guys have heard me say the likes of West Ham and United last year. All you got to do is look at West Brom this year, Watford this year, Palace when Benteke scored. We're conceding the same sort of we know our teams seem to hate stopping the first cross. We know we have problems defending set pieces, and we know we still are pouring forward ridiculously. Three at the back has helped it to a degree, but there needs to be a mentality change, and that's it as well. Koscielny's injury problems, I feel he's lying about that. We all know about Santi Cazorla. Ramsey has not been handled well all year, in my opinion, and that's probably contributed into his poorish kind of season. There's no surprise that when he's fully fit and he's been handled properly in the last couple of games in the season, you've seen an upturn in his form, and you ultimately saw him get the winner against Chelsea in the FA Cup. He hasn't been handled correctly, so yeah, in that regards away form hasn't been good enough. I already alluded to that, but the away form hasn't been good enough. Like I said, the only guy that could leave any away games or whatever with any sort of pride is Alexis, because 9 times out of 10 he actually turned up away from home more than he did at the Emirates. There's that. I mean, since the Palace game, we went on a nine games from 10 unbeaten run, and it's all fantastic. But it's too little, too late. You have to show this in December. I mean, you need to show this from December to April. That is when you need to do this. It's pretty pointless, and to be 1 point off Liverpool provides so many talking points. We've had nervy finishes against Swansea, against Southampton at home, 3-2 and 2-1 respectively. We should be killing off these games, and it did go down to the wire, and it's too nerve-wracking. We've shown when Alexis, like everybody, Alexis is going to have bad games. When Alexis is not up for it, it's not going to happen for us. And you've seen the nil-nils against Middlesbrough, the nil-nils against Leicester, the nonsense against Bournemouth when we were actually in the title race, etc., etc. So we can't hold leads. We're not killing games when we're not playing well. We're not, yeah, unless we are playing well, we're not winning games. At the start of the season, yeah, you could say we were getting the rub of the green, but yeah, when it came to crunch time, it wasn't happening as well for Wenger. Finding positives where there is none is something that annoys me. You guys saw my video when he was talking about trying to link the Invincibles and to the squad we have now, trying to talk about more points this year than last year. When you say that, you insult my intelligence, you insult fans' intelligence, you're insulting your own intelligence, and you're insulting your own players. And it goes back to this play crash mentality at the football club. I mean, the transfer market in the start of the season as well was a joke. I mean, it got so bad. We went for Vardy. He rejected us for the right reasons, to be honest. He had security at Leicester. I do believe Perez, like I said, Perez was watched, etc. But we clearly didn't want him as first choice. When you see he went for Vardy before he went for him. Made a mess of chasing Mustafi as well. Xhaka's brilliant. No fault there. But we've shown we choke when it's time to win games. City and Everton, I've just said it, choked when we could have went ahead of the league and made advances in the league. Choked against Palace, choked against these dumb results. We know about what happened in March and what happened in April. There's ultimately a lot. Now, I really don't know what to say. The thing that bugs me the most, again, is our away form. And there's not really much to say other than that. I mean, the one thing that was keeping you in your job to a degree, Wenger, well, I don't want to say keeping you because you do to a degree, well, you do decide if you want to go or not, is that I don't want to say finishing ahead of Spurs because that's just for banter and that's just they give it to us, we give it to them. But really and truly, the Champions League. I mean, for all the critics and all the things everybody says, at least you could say you're getting Champions League. We know it's not that much, but yeah, we could say that this is your first year out of the Champions League. Of course, it doesn't take away your good seasons, but to finish fifth, it needs to wake everybody up. And if you are going to stay, you need to come out of your comfort zone. These players, again, have shown you can't rely on them. Stop relying on them. You probably will still rely on them, but yeah, some players are deadwood and they've really shown you that. And finally, you've dropped certain players out of the side and seen it. I've got to talk about the Champions League 8-2 against Munich. Even more annoying because I don't think Arsenal are ever going to win champs because of how we are. But to be undefeated in the group, that was a pretty hard group. PSG was spoken about as dominating it. To not lose to them, unbeaten by Munich, of course we expect to lose, but it should not have been 10-2. It should not have been 10-2. If anything, it should have stayed 5-1 on aggregate. To ultimately lose 10-2, there's no excuses for that. Of course, it was at a time when there was a difficult period. There's no excuses for that. And yeah, you ultimately as well, I've said it already, but you take too long to drop players. Ozil, Wobie, Theo, Coquelin, like save these players. Take them out of the firing line. In regards to Coquelin as well, you tried to make the man a playmaker. Xhaka is adding that box-to-box aspect, but you finally conceded that he's not going to be these guys that constantly partake in the pretty little Arsenal football. Bellerin clearly needs to be taught how to defend a bit more. You're not doing that. Ultimately, a lot of our players are not improving. So there's been a lot of Wenger. Like I said, you finished fifth. This is your first year finishing fifth, and there's real question marks of everybody, including you. I mean, the players. This is what I mean by no reaction. They weren't bothered against Spurs. They weren't bothered against however many teams, especially lower league teams. You couldn't galvanize them, and it goes back to the reactions. Maybe a new voice gets a new reaction because they can't get away with these sort of things. Koscielny is still out here doing the same nonsense. Has been doing a lot of nonsense this year, and I don't think it's a coincidence that he's happening to be missing the first game of the season this year, just like last year. But that's just some of my thoughts in regards to Arsene Wenger. Oh yeah, set pieces. I know I've said it again, but set pieces. Please, Wenger, please, set pieces next year. Please, let's not constantly concede from set pieces. Big games, we haven't turned up in big games either. Last year it was a case of getting something in big games, not turning up against the small teams. We haven't turned up in big games. Yeah, you can point to the FA Cup, etc., etc. And credit to you for getting this club's 13th FA Cup, your 7th. Big thing, but it really doesn't gloss over the season. And if I had to give you a mark out of 10, I'd say it's a 4, personally. Yeah, this is just some of my thoughts, guys. I've probably forgotten a lot. I've just been straight off the dome and things like that. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. My thoughts really in regards to Arsene Wenger's performance for the whole season. Lastly, the formations change ultimately came too late. You've changed to a 4-3-3 at periods this year, which we played better. You've changed to three at the back, which you like. But I really think you really want to stay with 4-2-3-1, if I'm really honest. And if you did change at the start of the year, who knows where we'd be. So, of course, I have to mention that. But guys, Deluded Guna, I'm signing out. Just some of my thoughts in regards to Wenger's performance across the whole year.